Welcome back to another episode of Find the Line, presented by Against the Grain Design and Print, where we dive into real stories with real racers, the successes, the hardships, and everything in between, with your co-hosts Logan Cipala and Joe Falde. Produced by Luke Cipala, it all starts right here, right now, on Find the Line.
Yeah, and we can do anything. Mama said it's true, and I put that on everything. Mama told me one day I'ma blow up big and I'ma be a king. And my papa told me it's okay to sit where shit hurts. Don't forget your dreams, cause they'll get you through this so-called life they call living. All
right, my horsepower brothers and sisters, we got a fun show for you today. We are going to be recapping the unbelievable rounds 1, round 2 of the Motoclimb Super Series. We got a super fun guest on us first up. Our first guest is a Billings area native that had a background in motocross, and we have just been watching build one epic of a team underneath him now in Hillclimb. Ladies and gentlemen, the number 566, it says behind me, Tristan Alexander. Tristan, how's it going?
Doing good. How are you guys?
Doing good.
We made it. We somehow the trailer tires all held together. We only had to change one, Tristan. Rapid City, pull over, gonna go get some Qdoba. There's some metal sticking out of one tire. Logan's like, she gonna blow. So here we flopped one tire, got some Qdoba, made it all the way back. It was pretty awesome.
I listened to the first podcast on, I think, as we were passing you guys going up the pass. I had it on, and all I was waiting for was that tire post.
That's what we're known for. I mean, it's just guaranteed that we're going to have to change at least one trailer tire about every, 4,000 miles, Logan, something like that?
I guess that's probably the limit, considering we got there and almost home, and probably a little bit of a couple of trips from last year that you didn't change it on. So
right
about there.
You know, like
the van. I don't like changing tires.
No.
You guys are all too young, but do you ever remember that the movie Office Space, where they take the baseball bat to the copy machine? Have you ever seen that? Where the bunch of office guys just beat the hell out of the copy machine? No, nobody's seen that. It's trailers for Logan, Tristan. He just wants to put like 10 pounds of high explosives and just blow every trailer. Yeah. He hates trailers.
I agree. We had the drive shaft in the van last year go out on us, and we didn't really have time to fix it, so I took the truck and trailer to a couple rounds. It makes me have another whole appreciation for the van. I don't want to take a trailer anywhere.
Van life is the move.
There's something about being able to pack the van, and it might be a tighter space, but everything has its home. So it loads and unloads so easily. You don't end up with a bunch of random extra stuff floating around.
My favorite story is Gary Waddell. When they had their van 100 years ago, they used to have a chainsaw starter for the open bike, Tristan. Have you ever seen those?
Yep.
So he left like Mankato or something, and their van was so packed, he actually had like a half tire cut into the back door. So like it was like a little half moon coming out of the back door. And this is like the old like Ford Econoline style van or whatever. He goes, I'm driving along, and he got that thought, crap, did I put that chainsaw starter in the back of the van or not? And he's like, everything had such its place. I had to pull over, and you had to pull out like a half a dozen things just so he could see if the chainsaw was in its spot or not. He's like, there it was, put everything back together and down the road. And I'm like, yep, that's every van guy that I know of.
Our only downfall with our van is, for some reason, our tools always end up at the front of the van. When we were racing moto, it was like we're coming back from Loretta's in like 2019 or something. It was like 2 a.m. in the middle of Missouri, and we had a wheel randomly fall off the van. And I remember we unloaded the whole van on the side of the road to get tools out so we could fix the van.
I've been there.
Middle of nowhere, all you hear is the crickets, and we had 3 bikes and water tanks and pressure washers and bags full of plastics and everything else from being at training camp for 6 weeks sprawled on the side of the interstate.
Yeah, my awesome father-in-law, Bruce, one year for Christmas, bought me just a Master Force cordless 1/2-inch impact. And he's like, just keep this in every trailer when you travel. And I'm like, that is the best present I've ever got, because it's so fast to change a tire. I almost beat Logan. He went in and got Cadoba, and I was damn near done. By the time he got back, it was awesome. But I mean, just one of the best presents I ever got. Just you're not dealing with the damn trying to find the wrench in the truck and everything else. Just grab that sucker out, freaking whap 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 whap, and you're on your way. You know.
I pulled the blister. I showed up when all the work was done.
Yeah, that college education pays off for you. That's for sure. Well, man, round 1, round 2, Motoclimb Super Series, and a series that Tristan last year very successful in, obviously. And Carnegie is just such a mother. I mean, damn, someone from like yourself that's close to, hill climbing royalty like the BMC and Columbus. Carnegie's right there too, isn't it? I mean, there's so much history in that place. And we were talking a little bit beforehand, that hill has just got something in it, doesn't it?
It does. This was our first year down there, and it's a different place. We see it in pictures and videos, and it definitely doesn't do it justice. And where you're in the parking lot makes the hill look different. So I was happy to get some seat time in on it. But man, it's a different place. It's weird dirt, weird. It's weird. I mean, the layouts are different than what I'm used to. And then those rocks, I mean,
man,
talking to a couple of locals, it sounded like they picked a lot of them out. And this weekend, I wouldn't say like we had to really navigate through like rock gardens where I was scared of smashing into stuff. But there's a lot of rock underneath of that stuff.
Yeah. Wow. Mm-hmm. And that hill's just been beat to hell. I mean, they have so many races, and they've had so many races on that hill. It's always just boggles my mind how they can adapt and somehow find new lines. And, like at the BMC, they put 3 months of water on a hill and stuff will slide and it'll change. And the hill's kind of always changing. But Carnegie, it don't get no damn water ever. And there's no rain ruts. The dirt stays right where it was put. But yet again, all completely different lines. I've only been there, I think, 3 times. And every time it's been a completely different feel to the hill. And I was just going to ask you were lucky enough to go to, was it considered a district race, the first one you went to, Tristan?
I think it was part of, it's their California series or whatnot. I was lucky enough to make it down to that one, kind of how it played out as we had the open bike down there, kind of getting some of the finish work done over the winter. So we kind of made it the plan to jump down for that race, get it assembled, get a little seat time, and we had never been there, and I wanted to race the Motoclimb series this year. Okay. So we think it would be worth the seat time, and I'm really happy we did, because to be there for our first time, it would have been a learning curve like no other. I mean, we learned a lot from the first round, and then going back this weekend, I mean, we learned a whole bunch more, I think. So.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the first few times that we went there too, and even it was like the last fall one that it was super dry. It's like you see all these guys just lay down rides all day, and you're trying to figure out what line they hit, and there's just like no line on the hill, and you're like, where did they even go? And they didn't hit a bump, and I was like, you just can't figure it out. But they just fly through all this rough stuff somehow, and just smoke you. It's like, man, it's such a learning curve riding that place. I think, at least, or it has been for me.
And Tristan, like you were there just a few weeks ago, and how different were the conditions from your first experience to your second?
I don't think you get any more polar opposites. I mean, when we were down there in March, I mean, I'm not going to say it was like BMC mud, but like it was Velcro. I mean, it was as sticky as it gets without being, deep and mucky. Right. Because it rained for 2 full days, like downpoured. I mean, I thought for sure we were canceling the race, and I was going home with no riding time, and it kind of was what it was. But I mean, we showed up, and the facility there's great. Of course, they have all the gravel, so parking wasn't an issue, and the hill was amazing. I mean, it was green, it was like chocolate cake dirt. I mean, that stuff was gorgeous. I'm sure it was kind of like April last year.
I think your experience the first time. Luke, the first time he was there, all he was talking about, telling me was how awesome the dirt was, how he couldn't wait. And then I get there, and if you didn't have a chain wheel, you might as well walk up the damn hill. You know, it was impossible to ride. And I just remember telling Luke, like, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, it was nothing. I swear, he goes, it was nothing like this. And I kind of felt that these two races. What do you want to defend yourself, Luke? Or?
Yeah, I honestly, I still remember rolling into Carnegie Park, that first time in those hills. I was like, this is the most beautiful place on earth. And I was like, we get to ride up these hills? No way. And then, we went back that fall race, maybe that same year or something. And I came back and I was like, oh my God, this looks terrible. Like what happened here? It looked like the whole thing had been burned down by wildfire. And there's like, no, this is how it is. And I was like, what?
Yeah,
never seen that before. So yeah, you are right on that. I probably talked it up way too big.
I have a feeling I have one of those coming for me for Brick Mine this year. Last year, the dirt was. The hill couldn't have been better. The pits were very wet.
The pits were
swampy, but the hill was top notch.
There's still mud stuck in places everywhere from that day in the pits and the race.
That was one for breaking a new bike.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even imagine what it was like. I wasn't there for that, but that had to have been difficult in and out for the pit vehicles.
Yeah, I had my 550 lengthened out longer than I've ever ran a knobby with it, and I still almost looped it out of the hole. It was so crazy.
Wow, that's nuts.
I definitely the back of the big board on that race.
So, Tristan, let's talk a little bit about round 1, round 2 for Motoclimb. I mean, how we were talking a little bit up and down weekend for you, or what would you consider your weekend, and some highs and lows for your weekend, if you don't mind.
Expectation-wise, round 1 was pretty atrocious. The 7 or Pro Mod Hill was technical, and I think we rode all right in it. I think we were in the top 10. On the back end of it. Stock class, that hill was brutal with 2 riders going over. It was kind of a fight for footage. So, first ride, I was early, I goofed it. Second ride, we went to strategic play just for seeding. Right. And it paid off. And that open hill was just fast.
Yeah.
As we seen that video, Logan.
It was fast.
That's fast.
That's fast.
So, and again, I was early. At that hill, if you're early, you're cutting line through 3 foot of grass. There's still grass on my bikes so
I'm so happy I didn't have to cut grass once all weekend. I think my earliest was 6th or 7th, but it was in one of the hills that was pretty open from the day before at least. But the last thing I want to do is ride through that tall grass and not know what's below it.
So terrifying. Yeah, I had on Saturday, out of the 4 classes, I had a 1, a 3, and then a 21. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, this is fun. And then, hey, I know, let's have the 700 hill or the Pro Mod hill be the fastest hill I've ever seen. And then for the old guys, let's tech it up. Let's go through some long grass that nobody's ever went through before and see what happens.
Yeah, I had one of those number 1s this weekend and a couple in the top 10. And you were definitely cutting grass down. The first ride, you might as well probably about throw it in the garbage can because it just got so fast. Second ride.
Well, I needed to channel my spirit animal, Kirk Mueller, because he just freaking hammered it. He didn't care. He's like, I'm not scared of what's underneath there. He just freaking dropped the hammer and went. That's what I needed to do.
I tried. It still never stuck.
So a little up and down. Saturday, you were in the hunt on everything. And, for the pro stock, when you were growing up, did you guys run many stock bikes, hill climbing? Did you guys do much of that?
I really didn't hill climb growing up much.
Okay.
Nate Durandale's my best friend and Noah Shaver. So, and Noah was a moto guy. They hill climbed some. And then Nate was always full hill climb. So, we played on some hills, but I never did any of the hill climb races. Right. Except for 50s.
Right.
So, and then, of course, over in Cali, Wyoming, we went and played over there because that place is, it's kind of like a moto kid's paradise for hill climbing.
Yeah. Oh, God. Awesome.
So, I had some, but not a lot. And then it didn't help once, you get older and you stop racing. moto and you get a full-time job, all of a sudden, I put on a little extra weight than I used to be, which makes those stock bikes a little more difficult to ride.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, does not help.
I was
year?
doing some studying and videos, and I think there's a couple things that I need to switch up on our stock bike to make it a little more rideable. I think I might have a little too aggressive of a tire for that situation for me, because that thing, I can't keep the front wheel down to save my life.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just me. What were you going to say, Logan?
Weekend.
Oh, I was just going to say, when was your first hill climber? Like what year for like pro stuff? Because I remember seeing you bounce in and out a little bit at Big Sky and like Columbus. You were always at probably like I'm talking like 15 to 17, somewhere in there. I remember. But that was kind of like right when you were getting into it, right? Kind of right as you were getting done motoing and chasing like Lorettas and that type of stuff.
Yeah, I'd have to look. I want to say maybe 18. I rode Columbus. I rode Columbus for like 1 or 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because I rode it. They used to pay the kids. So I remember like it was super easy hill, and they're, for us as a moto kid, it was like, why not show up and make $300 if you're 13 on a Super Mini or an 85, So I showed up for that one a couple of times, and of course that translated into, climbing it once I got of age to ride the pro stuff. So looking here, it looked like 2018 at Columbus was like my first hill climb, maybe.
Okay.
It looks like 2017, 2018. I started riding some like Columbus stuff, and then we really didn't start racing like actually like having a bike that was halfway set up ish, maybe had a spring in it and a gearing that wasn't stock till like maybe 2020. Mm-hmm. I think 2019 was like my last year racing moto. I did the Berettas thing, and then I was kind of burnt out on it, and we kind of took a break, and then that kind of just led into riding some local stuff.
It's been really fun, and this is why we need to have you back on to have like a long form interview with you about your whole experience. But we've all got to watch you come from dabbling, and then it was cool. I think I was there, or I know I was there when you got to ride Dave's 1190 at the Great American, I believe it was. And I told you when you were sitting in line, I said, you're about ready to have a lot of fun. That bike is super fun to ride. And I asked you afterwards.
That conversation very vividly. Those 2 runs, I remember, because I remember I closed my eyes and I was out to shoot. And I remember I was way too far right. And I remember I lifted and it was just face into the dirt.
Welcome to the open class.
Welcome to the open class. But, now we see you, and it's awesome. You got the big bore, you got your own open bike, you're getting some really cool equipment, and you're starting to fine tune it. How fun is it just kind of like building that team? And obviously you've been ultra competitive in motorcycles your whole life, but this is the second stage of a lot of people's careers coming into hill climb in different forms. And what's it been like to kind of take your knowledge from your youth to now and build this team up? How fun is that?
It's been awesome. It's cool because Dad and I still get to go racing. We still got to work together. We're still get to do the brain crunching when it comes to what's going to go fast, right. What's going to make the money, what's going to get it done. So We're enjoying it a lot. And then the open bike deal, that kind of fell into our laps some magical way.
Right.
We had talked about it, but I run a business by myself. My dad runs one himself, and it doesn't leave much time for building one, because any of us who have built one or been around it long enough, we know that it's not really as easy as it sounds.
Right.
And there's a lot of little things that people don't realize go into it. So it worked out. It took a little longer than we thought to get that thing going, but
I was actually going to ask you a little bit about that, because I had talked with Matt like on and off a little bit, and he had always mentioned that he was building an 1190 and never said it was for somebody, and I assumed it was for him. And then all of a sudden you bought an 1190, and then I was looking at it and I'm like, this looks just like the one I've seen a couple pictures from Matt of. And then I think at one point Matt mentioned that he finished his, and it was like right when you had yours. I'm like, what's going on here? And then finally we put two and two together, and one of you guys said something about it. So did you guys plan from the beginning, or did, like you said, it just kind of fall in place where you were able to buy it from him after he was done with it type deal?
So no, so from my understanding, he started that bike like in 2020 in COVID, and I think it was supposed to be like a Team USA bike, something like that. And then last February, I can't remember, somebody sent me like a picture of it on some, that he had posted from somewhere. Somehow I caught a picture of it, and I had messaged him, kind of just BSing with him, and it came into talks that, hey, I'd buy it from you, if you can get it done, or what would it take to buy it from you? And we ended up kind of working it out, and he ended up starting to get close to it, and he was going to try to get it completely finished for Carnegie last year. And we all know how busy Matt is. I mean, that guy works more than most of us combined.
Yeah.
When you talk to him, if you're someone who gets to talk to him much, I mean, that guy works an absurd amount. So we, I got pushed and pushed and pushed, and I got kind of lucky, and I was able to ride for 5.5 Motorsports last year. And rode some of Dave Perigo's stuff for a couple rounds, and I borrowed a own bike from Brad Cowan that he had just bought. He hadn't even rode the thing, but he's like, "Yeah, sure, you can ride it." We have good friends like that, so
right.
I was able to ride a little bit last year on it, and we kind of made it through. And I talked to him, and he got most of the fab work kind of done like right before Columbus, and I was like, just bring it with. Like, how about like I'll still pay you whatever, but bring it with, give it to me, and I'll make it run and figure it out. But I just want a bike because I know it was his kind of situation. I think kind of fell apart with some of his riders that were supposed to ride for him out west, not riding for him, and so he ended up telling me he wasn't really going to make the rest of the round. So I was in like a scramble to do something because I was excited just to ride. We haven't been racing moto. I still have the competitive nature. I want to go race, and I didn't really feel like sitting on the couch all summer long doing nothing. So it gave us we better do this. So long story short, we got it. We put a bunch of time into it in a very short period of time, and made it to Brooklyn with a half running bike.
Lots of sleepless nights, right?
Many.
A quick little thing here on that is, when you're talking about having that competitive spirit and then building this open bike, and you and your dad racing moto growing up and now transitioning into this, getting this awesome Hillclimb team, comparatively, when you were going for Loretta's and really good in moto, when you guys had a great weekend then, and now when you and your dad have a great weekend, what's more profitable?
I mean, when we raced moto, it was all amateur stuff, so I never made much.
Right.
AMA rules is we really couldn't get paid. So it's when we have a good weekend racing Hillclimb, we definitely at least come home turning in a profit, which is nice. But
yeah, and I think I wanted to kind of just I'm going to get a little annoying this year because I just kind of want to point out I just been having so many people message me, and this isn't your issue, Tristan, but about what Hillclimb needs to be and all these things, and just talking with other people, it's like, yeah, I wish it was other stuff too, but look what it is. I mean, Tristan, if you go out there and sit your ass on the podium, 60% of the time on Motoclimb, you're coming home with a bunch of freaking money, if maybe it might have cost you a bunch to get there, it'll pay for it. It's like, what other discipline can you do where if you have a decent weekend, it's going to pay for your costs, and if you have a great weekend, you're going to turn a profit? Not many,
I'm happy to put it out there. I mean, we got 1 second this weekend, and I think I got 2 other checks for like an 8th and a 9th. And we broke even or made, $100 or something on the weekend.
Fucking awesome. And you got to spend the whole weekend with your dad, and they paid for it, right?
Yeah. I mean, we got to go, spend, 30 hours in the van and make some memories, get a ride of dirt bikes, had a good time. You can't beat it. I mean, so if you can do that for break even, why not?
Absolutely.
100%. And Tristan, because you've been around it a little bit too and seen like the upper level moto guys, like I don't know if there's another sport out there in like our level of talent versus the amount of money that we make is like so offset. Because like, dude, I ride with guys in the winter at the indoor track that I know for a fact I probably make 10x in a year hill climbing than what they do riding dirt bike, and they are way better riders than I am. But don't tell them that.
Yeah, don't tell them. It's our secret, right?
I'm sure you guys met Cameron Horner at Boise.
Yeah.
I think he might race a little more of that, but he's the same thing. He's raced the Pro Series a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
It gets old. To go race a Pro Series, it might cost you 50, 60 grand at least to run the outdoor circuit. And I mean, what are you making? You make the, show, you might get $400, which is your entry fee.
Right.
One of those. I mean, you're not making the money any sort of way you go about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like their credential is like $250 or $500, I think, just for the credential. And then like a sign up for one class, I think, is basically what we pay for an entire weekend.
Yeah, it's like $300 and some plus if they have team passes or any of that stuff.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, we've got her pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen the Facebook post of this week of the comment section.
Oh yeah,
having my laughs at it because people are trying to, point that they're better, but unless you're at all three shows, one stands out for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm not on the Facebook.
You can plead the fifth on this one at least.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, and it sounds saucy. That's all I know. I can see the sauce dripping. That's what's going on.
I try to stay out of the drama, but I love watching it.
Oh yeah, it's so fun.
So Motoclimb weekend. I mean, you got yourself on the podium on Sunday in the open class, and how the points work in Motoclimb, it's crazy. It's 450 pro or 450 stock, or I'm sorry, pro stock qualifier, pro stock main, and then open main for garnering points for the season. How are you feeling about the season this year right now? I mean, it's got to be a little dicey for you, isn't it, coming out of rounds 1 and rounds 2?
Yeah, I haven't looked at the points. I'm not sure if you guys, if Matt's put them up or not. I didn't even look. I mean, in all honesty, we were pretty disappointed with our weekend, just not being consistent. But I do know, like, that California race, there's a lot of really fast locals down there. They aren't going to be traveling the series.
Right.
So, it is what it is. I mean, I do it for fun, so we'll still be racing the rest of the races.
Yeah.
At least of now, unless, work gets really busy or something like that.
Right.
But it is what it is. I mean, I'm doing it for fun still. I mean, it is what it is, and we'll keep racing. I'm not in it really for the points, as much as a championship or, something like that would be cool.
Right.
It'd be awesome. As I've told a lot of the guys that are in here, I mean, some of the guys, might get upset about something here or there, but I'm like, we can't control it, what happens, and you enjoy what you can enjoy, and if you take it too seriously, you're never going to have no fun.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And Tristan, like, you have that ability where good for you to have that attitude, but also like you got that home run swing. Like when I see you go up there, I know at any moment you could be standing on the top of that box. Like you have the equipment and you have the ability. You just got to pick that lock the right way. And that's just got to be exciting now that you've got those tools. How does that feel? Like you just know you just got to put it together on every ride.
It's good. It's slightly stressful. I mean, I have no excuse now in the 450 class and the open class. Our big bore, it had some issues. So hopefully we got something in the works for that. I'm thinking so, as of some conversations we've been having, but we'll see how those cards fall and if it works out. But I mean, the thing is, once you have the equipment, you no longer have an excuse. So,
I got a whole bag full if you want to borrow some.
I mean, yeah. Once you spend the money and build a rocket ship, I guess you just got to pilot the damn thing to the moon. So
right. Well,
What's the
Well,
other?
just wait another, 7-10 years, Tristan, and then you're just going to be there for the open class because that's where I'm at. It's like all the other stuff, as Todd Tyler said, is foreplay. All I care about is the open class.
I think I'm. That's already my game plan. I was just like, can we try the open bikes? Can we go 5 rounds of open bikes sound good to me.
Right.
There's nothing that puts a bigger smile on my face. I mean, Saturday, my first ride, I was early, and as I said, I was going through 3 feet of grass, wide open on 1190, going, mock Jesus. And I came down going, you can't go faster than that. And then Logan goes 2 seconds faster. But I mean, I'm still smiling ear to ear.
Right. Well, Saturday, Logan was out to steal souls. I'm convinced of it. That Buell took some souls from that podium. I know that.
Yeah. That Saturday ride, like I told Joel a couple of times, I think that was worth the drive to and from Carnegie just for that one.
Yeah.
I said that on my Sunday ride. That Sunday ride.
Yeah. Yeah, that was smoking
last
too.
ride in the class and getting it close to Jake and being on the podium. I mean, that was worth the whole weekend of headaches.
And I didn't hear the time. They didn't announce it. I just know that you beat John. And then I think at one point I heard the time. You were like right there with Jake too. Especially for
I still haven't heard him, but I heard it was close.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like within a couple tenths, which on a hill like that with how gnarly that corner was up top, that's pretty damn close. So being right there, especially on still your first few outings on the bike, still getting it dialed in and everything. So can't be bummed about that.
That's such a benefit of Hillclimb too is, I mean, you guys, we talked about this before, but the real champions, it's not about the winning. It's about they just don't want to lose, But the Hillclimb thing, for me, I can have one good ride all weekend, and that'll get me 2,000 miles home. I got in the middle of the pack with my open bike ride on Sunday, and it was good enough for me. I was like, damn it, I got to feel a little horsepower, and I, smiled, screaming, going through the lights. I was pumped. It's like, it's so fun. It's like it's like we're bull riders. It's like you just got to hit that 1/8 second ride, and it makes your whole weekend. It's awesome.
It's kind of like me golfing, Joel. I can play 12 holes bad, and as soon as I pull that Heavenwood out of your bag and pipe 150 yards, it's worth the whole trip.
I thought you were going to say as soon as I pull that Texas wedge out and knock one about 20 yards off the green into the hole. Yeah, I know. I've seen it. I've been there.
My success rate with the Texas wedge is much lower.
Oh man. Well, how would you sum up Motoclimbs round 1 and 2? Did you have fun, Tristan? Or are you excited for the rest of the series? What are you thinking?
We had a ton of fun. I mean, you can't not have fun when riding dirt bikes and around some good people. I mean, those California guys down there, there's not much of a better group than those guys. They've been super helpful to me.
Yeah.
I mean, coming from an outsider who really hasn't been around the hill climb scene for super long, traveling, those guys, I mean, even last year when I was at Races Without Dad, they were always willing to help out and try to, give me a hand with that new open bike. Kevin, Merrick, I mean, I've spent a lot of time texting back and forth with him, and he's been ultra helpful, if it was the 450 or if it was the open bike. I mean, those guys aren't afraid to really, talk and share. So that's always nice.
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool that we can travel 10, for you 1,500 miles, for us 2,000 miles, and be right in the middle of a group of people that make you feel like you're from that area, and part of the family. Like it's sweet, every time we go there, there's everybody offering us anything that they can, and it's pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah. So proud to be part of this community. And man, in California, that's just, you can feel the culture there for dirt bikes and just racing. And we were talking a little bit before the show too. How freaking fast are those locals there, Tristan?
Absurd. I mean, it's ridiculous. We went down for that California, their series race. That's just, basically a local race for them. And I mean, it was still, a fight. I mean, those guys are pretty all bad dudes. I mean, to me, I call it the same thing as Billings. I mean, you come up here and we have a lot of guys who have traveled that don't maybe travel anymore, but there's a group of, 10 really good dudes that will show up to a local race. And you're like, this doesn't feel like a local race. This is a national race. 12 guys who can all go win at any time.
Right. Oh man.
Yeah, the year that we went to the night climb or the nightmare, Joel, in like 2020, it still felt like a Rockwell race. I'm like, this isn't a club race.
No. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that's so fun when you have those healthy hills and that opportunity for little kids to ride, for adults to ride, everything. That's what it grows, is that culture, that area around it. And you see it at the BMC around Billings, Columbus. You see it out east around Freemansburg and White Rose and the Devil's Staircase, where you got these long-standing races that have been going on forever, and especially Carnegie. But something specific about Carnegie, it's that skill set, that free ride on that terrain. They have just like when Darwin was going around, that culture is for there. Like they've adapted to, I don't know if they grow a tail or what. I don't know what it is, but they've done something there where they just have that special set of skills that they can just do whatever the hell they want on that hill. I mean, from Petey's 91-second frickin' ride that I don't know how the hell that happened, and to John just blowing everybody's doors off on that qualifier. It was just wild,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's something different down there.
Yeah. But, Tristan, when we're talking points, the positive side of it is that when you come back to the Midwest and race Brick Mine in Bay City, there's a whole nother group and a lot of people that you probably have, maybe quite a few that you haven't too, that they're going to hang and give John and everyone else and you and me a run for our money trying to collect points. So it's definitely possible that it flips the other direction from what it was in California, and we're halfway done with the series now, so it's crunch time, but it's also just beginning. It'll be pretty cool to see how it all works out. I mean, not to take anything away from John or anyone else that's coming out for points, but there's good competition here too. I mean, you saw it last year with Brick Mine, like Nathan showing up on a borrowed bike and the Beta 300 and almost winning the overall.
Wild. Wow. Yeah, and it'll be interesting, half of the series was at Carnegie. There's 2 races there. There's one in Brick Run, one in Bay City. There might be a couple of those locals that are in the top 5 on the overall that maybe weren't going to travel, but they're looking at it like, damn, I got a chance for a national championship here. I might frickin' try to team up with whoever is going and get out there. It's like just the team NKS guys that were out there. It's like if you get a couple of those guys thinking they want to go, that makes the travel costs that much less. And let's hope that's what happens. I mean, at every one of these events, I just want to see the absolute top level talent racing. And I felt like at Carnegie, man, we were very lucky there. There was the top 15 guys were bad MFers. It was really fun racing.
How was your weekend, Logan? I really didn't pay attention much.
Man, it was up and down. I can leave happy because I had a sweet ride on my 550 and then that open ride. And really, my 4th place ride on Sunday in the open class, like I can't really be bummed about it. It was just you guys sent the corner and dialed it in a lot better than I did. And I really wasn't too bummed about that. But man, I got my butt whooped on the stock bikes. So I just was like, man, there was nothing I could do right on my stock bike all weekend. I was just like, I can't even be mad about it. Really, because it was so far outside of what I know I can do. I don't know if I just had my gearing so screwed up that I don't know. It was just, that part was rough.
Let's blame it on hard enduro.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what I want. I'm trying to turn you against it. Let's just blame it on that. All right.
Yeah.
There wasn't a waterfall on the hill or no tarantula trying to bite your finger off or something. So you didn't know what to do.
Yeah, something like that.
For some reason, it almost seems like setups ding near more important on the stock bikes than the extended bikes.
Yeah, I think it is.
Things. I mean, especially when the hills is as technical as it was this weekend. I mean, they weren't no easy stock bike hills. I mean, those were some of the toughest hills of the whole weekend.
Right.
Yep. And I think part of my problem with it is the gearing that you were able to use on the qualifier was so wildly different than what the Verticross was, and I wasn't changing it. Yep. And I probably should have, because I think a big portion of my issue, like in Verticross, was not gearing my bike down so I could click third off that double and accelerate. It just took a little bit to get into that power, and then as soon as I get a bike on you, it's pretty much over most of the time. So,
especially with that layout.
Yeah, that was a tough one too. So, and then just bad luck, like in pro stock on Sunday. I rode, took the lead over by like half a second, and got pushed all the way down to 6th. I'm just like, there's nothing I can do about that. The line opened up, and everyone went faster.
That seemed to be the story of the hill all weekend. I mean, I had sweet second rides, but I was so early in the list. I mean, I'd be sitting 4th, 5th, 6th, and before you know it, you're bumped to 9th, 10th, 11th. I think the one I went from like 6th to 13th.
Wow.
Yeah,
there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
I've seen that a lot there, where you never know what's going to be good. Like that, the 7th and pro mod was really good for me the day that I won it, because the hill was pretty smooth both times. But it's sometimes if you're really late, you only get one chance where it's really smooth. And then, like you said, if you're early, the hill blows out late in the day, and then it's fast. Like in the pro stock, I was 7th or something. So the line just kept getting faster and faster all the way down, and got pushed back. So, and like open, it seemed like those hills didn't change much, probably just because they were later in the day both days. But man, it's like you just never know what a good pick is.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, I tell you what, Tristan, really excited. Are you doing the whole Motoclimb Super Series? I think you had said that you were thinking about it, but are you planning on doing the whole series?
That's the plan as of now, is to go over there. We'll see. Those next the last 2 rounds are, when we get really busy at work.
Okay.
And then with, the travels, I'm trying to figure out, if we are going to go, if we're going to fly, if we're going to drive,
right.
What makes sense, financial wise and,
right.
time wise and everything. And then, how busy are we going to be? If there's a storm around here and we're slammed,
right.
It might not make sense for us to have to take that much time away.
Mm-hmm.
But as of now, that's the plan. I want to go racing.
Cool.
I want to ride my dirt bikes. It gives me something to, go to work every day for. That's one of my favorite sayings is, if I didn't ride dirt bikes, there's no reason for me to go to bust my butt at work every single day. I have to spend money on something. Somebody, you got to have a bad life decision somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. That's that. Nothing better than a little overtime for fast parts, right?
Yeah, I need a lot of overtime.
Well, dude, we're going to have you back on to get the whole story and have more time with you. We're actually going to talk to Josh Mouzakis as well later on here. And we just wanted to hear about your weekend. I just want to talk to you personally in a public forum, just say how awesome I think it is that you've built this great team. And it's so fun racing with you and just seeing you pick the slack that's Hillclimb and getting faster and faster and making your mousetrap work better than everybody else. So that's pretty fun. And man, just can't wait to see what the summer brings. And thanks for your time, Tristan.
Of course. Thank you guys for having us on. It's great seeing you guys. Great talking to you guys. And I suppose we'll see you guys in Washington here in a couple of weeks.
See Logan.
Me.
Logan. Yeah, I'm not making it. So bummer.
Well,
Luke.
I know I heard you talk about Billings. You've got to try making a Billings race.
Yeah. I'll be at Big Sky.
Luke might be at Washington.
Yes!
There's free tacos on the line, so we don't know. That might be what sets him over.
Let's go, Luke.
How good are these tacos?
The best.
They're good, yeah.
When you guys come to Billings, I'll take you out for dinner. We got some of the best tacos around.
All right. Now we're talking. That's
we got like 3 or 4 Mexican restaurants that are like they'll run with anywhere in the country.
Nice.
I'm hungry now. Damn it.
My line of work kind of helps with that. I get thrown, when you ask the guys what they want for lunch, you normally head to the Mexican restaurant.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Can't beat it.
Well, man, now I can't wait for Billings. Damn it, let's go. Let's get some food. Screw Washington. Let's get to Billings. Sorry.
Sounds like a deal. I'll buy a dinner.
Oh, what a guy. What a guy. Thank you, bud. All right, we better go before he's going to fly us out there. All right, thanks, Tristan.
See you later.
Against the Grain Design and Print is proud to announce its partnership with Find the Line. Against the Grain works with clients to build their business and racing goals through the design and production of premium stickers and decals. We offer one-of-a-kind subscriptions for a flat monthly fee that can save you hundreds of dollars. Custom mailers, white label printing, motocross graphics, and anything else you can think of, we have you covered. It's time to print your passion. Visit atgdesign.co or email sales@atgdesign.co. Hey there, Find the Line listeners. We will always be looking for partnerships for Find the Line. Please email findthelinepod@gmail.com to see how we can work together to grow your brand. Once again, that's findthelinepod@gmail.com. Now, let's get back to it.
Welcome back to Find the Line. We've got our second guest for the evening on here tonight. It's a fellow neck upper. I'm really excited to get him on here. He is a local, super fast Cali guy. Been killing it. Definitely cheating in the pro stock class, without a doubt, according to everybody and anybody. So we've got Josh Mouzakis on for the evening. Super excited to talk to you a little bit about your weekend in Carnegie and a little bit about what's been going on and the sweet pro stock bike that you've been ripping that has been allowed in the Motoclimb Super Series. I guess you want to just start out and give us a little bit of a recap of how it went for you.
Yeah, sure. Saturday was a little rough for me. We started out with pro stock or with pro mod, so 451 to 700 extended. Didn't really do too well there. My first run was okay, and then a new line kind of opened up on the second run, and I just kind of went for broke trying to go through the rocks, and it didn't work out for me. No big crash or anything, but just kind of got bucked offline and didn't really work. And then we rolled.
You got Carnegie'd. You just basically got Carnegie'd.
Exactly. Pretty much, yeah. It was one of those things where it was like you're either going to send it through and it was going to work perfect, or you were just going to not have a time, and that's basically what happened. So I chose option B on that one. But after that, we rolled into pro stock, and like Logan said, I mean, that's really my class. Like, that's the one I kind of focus on the most. And that one went okay. I think I qualified like 4th or 5th or something like that. Not great, not terrible, but it was a tough hill. I think only John and PD made it over, and PD made it over at like a minute and something time.
It was like the last time he climbed the Widowmaker. It was that time.
Yeah, it was honestly. I mean, getting over that hill on a 250 though, that was so impressive. Crazy. I mean, that's just crazy. So that kind of comes down to the local thing. He's been riding out there forever, and he knows how to get it done. So qualifying was good. Went into open after that. I don't have an open bike myself, but Matt was nice enough to let me ride Josh Hill's bike on Saturday. Which was awesome. That bike is super fun to ride. And it was the first time that I rode it actually since he got the tune on it. I was not ready for it the first run. I took off and I was just like, whoa, I was not at all ready for it. And that thing scared me big time. And I just rode like a total wimp on the first run, and came back down. And I was like, okay, second run, we're going to open it up more. And took off good, came around the corner, and then something happened. The bike started missing. Like, it wasn't, it didn't stall out or anything, but just something wasn't quite right with the whole run. So I'm not quite sure what ended up happening there, but ended up with an okay run, but wasn't really what it could be.
Right.
Other than that, though, the bike was awesome. It's always a pleasure whenever Matt lets me ride that thing, and I'm sure he'll get that little kink worked out, whatever it is.
Yep.
And then after that, we went into
that's open bike life, though, Josh. There's always something. I mean, like they're one-off works of art, every one of them, and it's like when they operate flawlessly, it's a gift. It's a gift from the Hillclimb gods when they work perfect.
Totally. And like, Matt's done such a good job on that bike. I mean, it's so well built and it handles so well. I mean, it really, really is an amazing bike, and his fabrication skills are second to none. So. I know he was disappointed with that happening, but like you said, it is what it is. It did have a new tune and stuff on it, so that introduces variables, and those things happen. That's the first warm weather we've really had for a while over here too.
Right.
So that could have played a factor, but I'm sure he'll get that worked out. Then after that, we went to Pro Stock Verticross. Was able to win the first round, the round of 32, and then I think round of 16s when I went up against Joe Shipman, and I just straight up blew it. I got the start on him, and we had a really kind of tricky off camber, like right hand turn that you had to make to get up the hill, and I got impatient really. I kind of watched some video afterward, and Joe's one of those guys that he's crafty, and he's fast, and I knew I couldn't give him an inch. So I kind of hit the cross hill probably a little faster than I should and didn't take my time setting up in the corner and kind of dipping in like I should have to get the drive for the second half of the hill. And he just sent it around the bottom and just passed me on the left basically. And yeah, that was it. He put in a great run and I pretty much just blew it. So hats off to him for that.
Yeah, Joe, like you like chum the waters when you make one little small mistake, and he just takes you out. Like he's just waiting for that. They don't call him Dirty Joe for nothing. Like he knows what he's doing. He's crafty.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's kind of funny because with me riding the Stark, obviously my bike's not making any noise, so his bike is super loud behind me.
Right.
And it's hard for me to tell how far back he is. Like I can usually tell whether they're on my left or right, but distance behind me is really, really hard to tell whether they're a foot or 50 feet. It all kind of sounds the same because it's so loud. So I didn't know really where he was exactly. And by the time he passed me, there was just like nothing I could do. So, I mean, he made it happen on that one for sure.
Yep. That's not the end of that story though, is it? With Dirty Joe, was it? You guys raced again Sunday, correct?
No, I don't think we ever.
I thought that was you and Joe on Sunday. Dang it, I was mistaken. I was lost.
Me and Robert Wilson, we lined up.
Oh yeah, yep, that's right. Okay, yep, it's you and Monty. That's right. Okay, yep. Okay, I was mistaken. That's me and my early onset dementia. That's what that is, Josh. Sorry.
Sorry, concussions will do that.
Yeah. All right, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So we're still on Saturday.
Yeah, that was really it for Saturday. I wasn't thrilled. I didn't really feel like I rode bad. Things kind of didn't go my way, but I feel like I made some mistakes and made some bad choices, not necessarily so much bad technique or bad riding. So I kind of just slept on that overnight and stewed on it a little bit. And then Sunday I was like, all right, we're putting it down. So, pro mod on Sunday went actually really, really well for me. First run was all right. Nothing great. Second run though, I was able to put down a 5th place run, which doesn't really sound like much, but for me in that class is huge. I mean, I put down what I thought was like a flawless run, and I'm really down on power in that class, and I'm just running a Yamaha that's bored out to like a 470.
Okay.
Like no nitrous or anything like that. So I'm not making a lot of power. So, and that was just a straight hill. I mean, Logan can attest to that. It was like you went around the corner and you were basically just pinned in third gear all the way up. Like there wasn't a whole lot of anything else to it other than a little bit of an off-camber left at the top.
Right.
So on a hill like that, I can compete a little easier when it's like a slower hill with turns and things like that. And we didn't really have that this weekend. So I was actually like really, really proud of that run to put that down. So
it was a stat class too, especially with all the fast big boards in there. Like,
totally.
Yeah, that's no joke. And the times were pretty tight too for a lot of them. So that was an epic ride.
Thank you. Yeah, I was definitely everyone's just so fast. I mean, it's so hard. I say it every year, like everyone's faster and just getting faster. It's like every year I think I'm getting faster and then everyone else is getting faster too. So it like ends up kind of a wash.
Tough.
But yeah, after that, and the next class for me was pro stock. I didn't run the open bike the second day.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember who ran Matt's bike that day, but that was kind of our trade-off. I was going to run it Saturday and he was going to run it Sunday.
Okay.
So went into pro stock again, qualified like 5th or 6th or something like that. Wasn't too thrilled with that. I knew I left a little on the table, but at least put me in an okay spot for verticross and the side-by-side.
Right.
And yeah, from there, I mean, I think the first like real eventful race was maybe a round of 8 against John Wolfson. And that one was tight. I mean, you know, me and him have kind of gone back and forth a little bit. And I know he's not thrilled about me running the e-bike in that class. And I mean, both of us just like put it down. We were bumping and banging like pretty hard.
Yeah.
So, I was happy to come out on top of that one. But I mean, hats off to him. He rode a good race. Just neither of us were getting an inch. And I kind of just got the better of the bar banging on that one. So
could
have gone either way.
It was funny when I watched it. Like you guys, like you said, you bar banged a couple times, and then like nobody lost any momentum or any speed. But it was like you just put him just off balance enough that he had to readjust, and then you were able to just snag him like at the very last second too. There was like neither of you were even lined up for the main line, but you put him off balance just enough so you could get into it. Like it was an impressive ride, and for him to hang on to it too. Like there were a couple times it looked like he was going to lose it going up that first section. So it was a fun race to watch at least.
Yeah, you were involved in a lot of really good races this weekend. I mean, I know that they probably feel somewhat normal to you, but from someone just watching all of them, man, it was pretty impressive, the skill set you were putting forth on your side-by-side races there. It was awesome.
And Monty's defense towards the end.
Yeah.
That was
the next
impressive.
one was a good one too. I mean, we were just a dead heat off the start going against Wilson, and we kind of banged again. That it's funny because watching the video, the bar bang on that one actually looks worse, but it didn't feel as bad. And it wasn't anything dirty or anything. I mean, we were just both racing for position, and he ended up getting ahead of me kind of on that side hilling like goat trail. But I knew I learned from Joe the day before, like, don't let off, just stay in it and try to wrap around the bottom. And I did. And he kind of almost did what I did on Saturday, got a little too throttle happy and slid out in that corner and kind of lost his momentum. And I was able to go up the left side of him. And luckily he kind of wheelied and like threw his bike to the left a little bit. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but luckily I was just far enough outside and ahead where I was able to kind of squeak around that.
And I think that's where I was watching, and I was mistaken. I thought it was Joe in my memory or whatever, but I remember this. You're talking about racing Monty, right? Or Robert Wilson?
Yeah.
And I think he was looking for you. And I don't think he could hear you. And that's where I was like, that damn Stark's that's a little bit of an advantage. It's like, you're like the stealth bomber up there. Like they don't know where you're coming at when you're behind, and you just got this speed momentum and they have no idea. And all of a sudden, my buddy Kevin was watching and he looked right and you were left and it was too late. It was like, see you want to be it's like me, here comes a roadrunner right by. It was like, dang.
Totally. Yeah. I think that is an advantage in X-Climb like that. I mean, it makes a little bit of noise. Like if it's just me running, you can hear it, but over a bike with basically open exhaust, like there's no chance they're hearing you,
Right.
No.
And I was going to ask you, does it play with you? Is it hard to like mentally stay focused? Like when you were talking about before racing Joe, like you can hear, you just can't see, tell. I'm like, for me, I have such a hard time battling my own emotions. Like if all you can do is hear that competitor's bike, is it hard to focus on what you're doing?
Honestly, not at all. Like it seems like it would be, but I don't know. I get so locked in on a verticross race like that like I don't like. It's hard to explain. Like you're hearing it, but it's not penetrating your brain almost. You know what I mean? Like you're. I don't know how to explain. It's kind of weird. It's similar to like I used to race BMX back in the day, and like during my race, like obviously that's not making any noise, and they'd have like a loud announcer or something, and I'd never hear them. Like the whole race, I would never hear anything, never hear the announcer or anything. I think you're just so locked in the zone that it just doesn't matter.
Right.
And at that point, it's just muscle memory. Like I have a very specific start sequence that I do on that bike. And yeah, I mean, I just follow that every time just off like muscle memory, basically.
This might be a conversation for the engineers in the room, Joel.
Well said, Tom. Well said. Damn it. Well, please speak on then. I mean, if you want to speak some pig Latin or something to really blow me away, go for it.
I mean,
no, I'm just kidding. But can you feel like on the Stark, is it like the vibrations or like, like when you're going up a hill, without a clutch, like, is it that's where I didn't know if it was difficult to tell, like if you're still got grip, if it's going good, is it just, you can still get that same feeling without the sound?
For me, yeah. I'm not someone that uses a lot of clutch. Like that's always been my riding style.
Okay.
I mean, on my pro mod bike, I've got 80 or 90 hours on that motor, I think. And I just replaced the stock clutch. Like I don't ride the clutch. Like it's always been my style of kind of throttle control over clutch.
Okay.
So for me, transitioning over to the e-bike's easy. You know,
Right.
like it's intuitive to me. Like I can feel the back tire, like I know what's going on.
Right.
For someone that uses a lot, like just kind of holds the bike wide open, uses a lot of clutch,
Right.
probably going to be a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
It's just a different technique. I mean, it's
I'd
not
say-
really one way is better than the other. It's just a different technique.
From watching the riding style, Joseph Allnut would have it difficult with that because Joseph Allnut doesn't let off, and that clutches his throttle. I mean, that was so fun watching him rattle that 450 up and over it with that. His style is so cool, and that I can see where that's the thing about dirt bikes. I mean, everybody has their own way that they operate their racecraft, but that's good information because I've never ridden a Stark, and I have nothing against them. It's just never been available to me, and it just seems like it would be so hard. Like when there's a freaking bike right next to you. Like I thought that would be a huge disadvantage for you, but that's kind of cool that you can just lock in like that and it doesn't affect you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, very cool. So then Sunday, things went pretty well in the Verticross then, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, I was able to just carry it all the way through and take the win. I think I raced Cameron Helfrich on the last race, if I'm remembering right.
Okay.
I should know that. I know. Sorry, I'm just like
no, that's fine.
For some reason now that the camera's on, but we actually had a really good race on the last one. He almost came back at the end, and that was another instance where like I could hear him, but I didn't know how far back he was, you know, and he ended up being like right there. So we had a good race, and I was super happy to be able to take that win. I won that race last year, and it was definitely awesome to come back and do it again. Like doing it once is hard. Repeating, I feel like, is a lot harder. Like there's that pressure you put on yourself. And especially just not having a great day on Saturday, it really kind of came down to Sunday where I was like, okay, I'm better than this. You know, I've worked way too hard at this to have the results that I did Saturday, you know, and just kind of had to regroup and put it down.
Yeah, it's fun just to see, you know, the Stark interacting with regular bikes. It would have been kind of fun if there would have been a few more there, so we could have seen. Because I think it's a little bit of a more of a weight for you to carry because you're not going to say it, but you're an extremely talented rider, you know. And it's like when we watch the Hills jump on these bikes, it's a showcase of their talent. That Stark is a very awesome, powerful bike, but I think you could have been on almost any bike and been extremely competitive in that class. And it would have been fun to see if there would have been a half a dozen Stark Vargs there riding, just so we could see it wasn't just a person or it wasn't just the bike, just to see how they would intermix it. And I'm sure we will in the future, but it's fun just to see you interacting. And, you know, you didn't just dominate all weekend. Obviously Sunday you did, but you didn't do it from the pole position either. You know, it's like a lot of time in that Verticross, you got to be one or two for lane choice to get it. So it was kind of neat to see that it wasn't just the pole guy that got it.
Totally. Yeah, this was kind of a unique Verticross where you could really win from any lane. Especially Sunday was interesting, especially because that, in theory, that left lane should have been better, but a really bad rut developed right out of the gate. A lot of acceleration chop. Whereas the right gate was a lot smoother right out of the gate. So we ended up choosing that right gate, even though it was on the outside toward the end. That was an adjustment that everyone really had to make. So that was a little bit unique, but I mean, again, it comes down to starts.
Yeah. Logan, you had that where you went to the right gate, didn't you? And there was kind of a little bit of a transfer area for lane choice. And that's tough, isn't it, for you guys trying to get to the end in Verticross, that lane choice?
Yeah, I mean, it's I guess it makes for good racing, but it's like the most mentally draining Verticross ever when you don't know which lane is better. Because you watch and it's like a couple of guys win from the left lane and then the lane choice guys are taking the right lane. And then it's like you don't know which one to do and you're not comfortable with it. And it's like on against Joseph on Saturday, I messed up. I picked the right lane because a couple of guys won out of it. And then Joseph had a wheel on me and just pushed me outside. And it was like, all I needed to do was be within a half a bike length of him. And I could have done that if I were on the left side, you know? And then Sunday I ended up losing. I didn't only had lane choice 1 or 2 rounds. And then when I raced Monty, he had it. So I was like kind of just along for the ride there. But yeah, you said that left gate was just getting really choppy coming out of it. And then it's like, and then there was a little bit of a groove forming on the right lane in the lip. So you're able to stay a little bit lower. So it was definitely a tough verticross just based off the first 20 feet, you know?
Right. Yeah. I didn't love the hill. I'm not a big verticross guy though either. So I feel like my opinion shouldn't be, accepted, but I don't love it when it funnels down to one lane so quick. Like I'm biased, but like our hill here in Wisconsin, basically, I love that for side-by-side racing because both lanes are relatively equal, but it's not funneling down to one lane until dominance has been decided, I guess, like it's almost at the very top until there gets a big V on the last jump here. That I love that, watching that battle to see who can stay more technical through a large percentage of the hill where, man, I don't like it when it's just bunting people off. I hate that, like where you can just get a tire on somebody, saber tooth them, and you win. I don't like that aspect of it. I want to see who's the better rider throughout it. But it was funny, like you said, it had that in that hill, but here with you and John racing, I mean, you guys were right side by side. It was kind of fun how that hill, it develops good racers make for good races. And we saw that. It was pretty neat.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Like, I'm not a huge fan of when it funnels down like that, but at the same time, we are kind of limited on that hill. I mean, your guys' hill at Basie, that's one of my favorite that I've ever raced. That was such a fun time when I went there a few years ago. But yeah, I mean, we've ridden the same hill for so long. It's just kind of cross ruts left and right and all over the place. And the only other option really is to run it just straight up with that kind of like slightly arcing left hill, which is okay, but it just becomes a power hill. It's like, it becomes who can get the start and cut the other guy off, or who can just outpower the other guy going up the hill. So I don't really like that either. So it's like kind of a catch-22. But I mean, our only other option really is to run it on the hill over to the right, like way over to the right, kind of near where the amateurs run. And we've run over in that area before. It's kind of a more open hillside and done do some kind of zigzag or something like that. Obviously not as technical of a hill, but it kind of gives you a little more options just because it's not so chewed up. Right. But I don't know. I mean, we're doing it in a state park too, so I don't know what limitations there are with that too. Anytime you're dealing with like a state authority or something, there's all sorts of rules and fun things you have to abide by.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Being the old guy, I always complain. Whenever I see him with the flags, I'm always like, what? Why are they doing that? I always do that. And then I go, and then I'm like, that's pretty cool. It's like, okay, that hill is pretty fun. And it's like, when it comes right down to it, and I've raced in a lot of different hills, it's always just fun to see what people can figure out, what line's going to be fast. Someone's going to figure it out, and someone's going to find an option that wasn't there. And we saw a fair amount of it. It wasn't like the best side-by-side racing I've ever seen, but I was pretty damn impressed with the multitude of people getting through to the end. Like I said, it wasn't just the pole guy that won every day. I thought that was awesome. And Josh, I gotta say, I think some of your races were the best of the weekend in the pro stock final. It was pretty freaking epic.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad we could put on a show with that.
Yeah.
It's a little stressful on the rider's side, but for the crowd, it's good.
I think, go ahead, go for it.
Oh, well, I'm like super curious and want to talk a little bit about the Stark itself because it's pretty unique for what we've got going in Motoclimb. Like Josh and I have talked about it a lot. So a couple of years ago when they were getting popular, the rules committee for the Motoclimb were tossing it around, and Mike Bronk is part of that, kind of the representative for our club. And he asked me my thoughts. And I'm like, we might as well let them in until we know that they're a clear and obvious advantage over a gas bike, where it's something that they can't compete against. And there's been so many series that we've seen just outlaw them and chop them off. And it kind of sucks to see, but there's also some reasoning behind it that you can kind of get behind. But either way, it's pretty unique to see it in what we've got going on. And it's cool to see somebody doing well on it, but also other people proving that they aren't a clear and obvious advantage. Like we've seen them at other verticrosses and they're not just walking away every time. I think I even raced Peyton on his, and it wasn't like he was significantly overpowered than me or anything. So Gonna just talk a little bit about what it's been like getting into the series with that and actually being able to race. And I think you were like one of the very first people to get an AMA racing win on a Stark Varg, which is pretty sweet too.
Cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think last year at this race was the first AMA win for Stark, at least on the pro side.
Cool.
Someone would have to fact check me on that, but I believe that was the case.
Oh, let's go for it. Who cares about the facts? Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we don't
No,
need
whatever.
hey,
Whatever.
congrats.
Fast
That first AMA Pro win. That's awesome. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what Stark was looking for, to do it in Hillclimb. You know, that's where they know that's where the money and influence is at. So we're really pushing for that. I'm glad I was able to deliver. No, honestly, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, I got to thank all the Motoclimb Super Series guys for not just booting me out like everyone else has. I really don't think it's the power advantage that people think that it is. So I'm limited. I can only run my bike at 70 horsepower. That's my limit. And people kind of have to keep in mind that that's 70 horsepower theoretical. That's not 70 horsepower at the wheel, right? So even if you run the bike at 80 horsepower, if my memory is right, like on the dyno, it's something like high 60s or something, like 67, 68, something like that. So I don't know what 70 would be, maybe 65, something like that.
Sure.
So I think kind of Stark may have kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit with their marketing on that, just because people hear 80 horsepower and they think 80 horsepower, like that's ridiculous, you know, but it's not really 80 horsepower at the wheel. Obviously there's all sorts of weird intricacies. And I mean, I work with e-bikes a lot, so I know that horsepower doesn't really translate to electric very well. I mean, you can use equations and all that, but it's hard to describe, but like 60 horsepower on electric's not 60 horsepower on gas. You know, it's a very different thing. So
Yeah, I don't even know if when you're talking an internal combustion motor, if 80 horsepower in Wisconsin is the same as 80 horsepower in, Washington or Florida. It's like we've already, even without the electric, when you talk to dyno guys, they can kind of fudge their numbers to whatever they want. It's, so we're already confused there, Josh. So it's not just you, okay?
Well, it's tough because your guys' bikes run on like cheese curds too, right? You don't
Absolutely, yes.
had to throw that in there at least once.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, we own up to that.
But yeah, and I mean, obviously dynos are subjective. Like it's more of a comparison tool than it is like an outright horsepower tool. Like one dyno is going to use a slightly different equation or read slightly different than another. It's more for it's more for tuning. You know what I mean? Like try a setting, do a run, try another setting, do another run, compare back to back. It's more for that than it is for saying like, oh, this bike has 65 horsepower or whatever. You'll see magazine tests of all the 450s and every dyno shows a little different. One will show the Yamaha at 60 horsepower, another will show it at 62. Like it's the same bike. It's just different dynos, slightly different motor, that type of thing. So
I know for me, like with Mueller Motorsports building my stuff, Kirk never tells me the end number. He'll get my equipment, he runs it, he'll do what we're going to do, and he'll tell me we were plus 4.7 or we were plus 9.4. Never the total number. And he just tells me the baseline from when I ran it to what we were plus or minus what I've done. I've had him do some stuff where we went minus, and he's like, let's go back because we just went minus 0.7. We're not, and I'm like, yep, we never talk end numbers. It's just the plus minus what our difference made. So very good point, Josh.
Totally. Yeah. And obviously he's got all sorts of experience, so he knows all the intricacies. Like I'm far from a dyno expert, but I know enough to at least know what I don't know,
Yeah, it's also funny, like, because obviously Austin rode that Alta how many years ago, and they marketed that thing as like a 250, but like their reported torque numbers were more than what my Mod 450 were on the dyno, or comparatively. So I'm like, and then he's out running and winning the 700 class on that thing. I'm like, that's pretty rough marketing too. So like, I don't know. There's something in between, but like you said, that's what brought me to show, because like their horsepower number was similar to what a 250 was, but the electric power compared to gas power is just so different that you almost can't even compare it and use those numbers as anything more than just what like a theoretical, like you said, just a theoretical estimate, really.
Yeah,
totally. And I think that's why it's so cool that I'm actually able to race it, because we're getting we're getting like real world results. We're seeing in real time kind of where the bike stacks up. And I mean, you guys could probably say better than me, but from the races that I had, I don't think I have like a clear power advantage. It's I can nail the starts really well on it, but I mean, I don't feel like I'm walking away from people up the hill, and there's quite a few races where I've lost distance up the hill, so.
Like when I watch you, I feel like going through the G outs, it accelerates a lot, like right when you're hitting the hill. And then sometimes it looks like at the very top, it'll continue pulling better. And I don't know, that could just be your riding style. And too, like, you're really smooth with the throttle and make sure that you don't overgas or undergas or just blow the tire off, so it's like, it's not all of it is like you said, it's just based on the power. It's like your riding style meshes well with that type of power. And I think you're just taking advantage of it really more than anything from what I see.
Yeah. And it's not only electric and gas. We had 2-stroke, 4-stroke. And when you're talking hookup, I mean, I even heard people like we had some 300s there. PD was on his 250. It's just even 4-strokes have an advantage, just disadvantage sometimes on traction, what's laid there. So we were getting all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember the transition from running a 500 to running my board out 450, and in the dry, it's a whole different ball game. Like, I mean, a 500 maybe can still compete nowadays if you have like a really tacky hill and like optimal conditions. But once you have a dry hill or something like we had last weekend, good luck. I mean, the 2-strokes just don't hook up. And like, I'm a 2-stroke guy through and through. Like when I'm out play riding and having fun, I'm on my 250. You know what I mean? I'm not a 4-stroke guy, but it's like, the reality is like the motor character on a 4-stroke is just better for racing for the most part. I mean, that's almost undeniable at this point. So it kind of is what it is.
If there was like making a theatrical movie over the weekend, and with all the controversy on social media, I love how you were the all black. Not only are you on the electric bike, but you're the Johnny Cash. You're coming just all in black. Like you were the guy walking around with the black cowboy hat in the movie. You just play up to it, don't you, Josh?
Oh, totally. I mean, I went with the darker theme on the bikes this year. And I was like, if people are going to kind of run their mouth and whatever, I'm just going to play into it. And like, might as well. Like that stuff doesn't get to me. You know what I mean? Like I'm not that young anymore. I'm almost 30 years old, and it's like, we're not teenagers, I'm there to race and do my thing, and that's just kind of what it is. So
the funniest thing to me is that last year after you won, there was all kinds of comments flying around about cheating or shouldn't be legal or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's quite literally written in the rules that you can do this. Like, in what world is that? How can you possibly claim it's cheating? The rule says you can't do it.
Like, my favorite is every time I win a verticross race, I pretty much have to come down and somebody wants to check my horsepower numbers.
Oh, I heard some of that too.
Check
I
all
was
the
like,
settings and like,
break.
Dude, I'm fine with it. Like I told Kevin, I'm like, dude, by all means, check it. Like I would never cheat. Like I love this sport too much to ever want to cheat, and they know I'm not cheating. I'm like, by all means, cover all the bases, make sure that everything's legit. Like I don't want any questions about it.
Yeah.
I want to let the riding do the talking, and that's it.
Right.
But I think we're kind of in. I think people have to look at the big picture a little bit too. Like we're a very unique motorsport. And we have the opportunity to kind of mix gas, electric, 2-stroke, 4-stroke electric, like have 3 different motor types in one event. Like where else are you going to get that? Like that's cool.
Right.
I wish
so cool.
I wish the motocross world and the AMA especially was like a little more open to that idea, just because we really have a unique opportunity here. And I mean, look at all the kids you see riding around on Suron's pit bikes. I mean, just around town on the electric stuff. Like, those kids aren't going to go to the dealer and buy a 250F when they're 15 or 16. They're going to want to graduate up to a Stark or like an Ultra B or something like that. Like they don't, a lot of them don't have parents that are mechanically inclined or anything to like teach them the ropes and those things. Like it's pretty rare for someone to just go from no motocross background in their family at all to like a full-fledged rider and super into it.
Yeah.
But we have the opportunity for people to kind of take a stepping stone from like Suron to Ultra B to Stark and really get into the sport from there and expand that way. So I think that's something people miss too.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
Logan, if you had a point on that.
Yeah, it's actually cool. I went riding with some local District 23 Harescramble guys a couple of years ago, and I think one of the kids was like 5 or 6, and he was on a KTM 50 e-bike, And then his dad was like saying that he had heard that KTM's whole plan with this is to like continue building electric bikes as these kids are growing and riding them, because they're not going to focus on changing over the demographic. They're going to focus on molding them from the ground up. So like these kids get used to an e-bike, they like the e-bike, and they're just going to continue buying them through the line and through the sizes. And, it's like, some people are going to buy them because they're interested or because they love different motorcycles and love cool new stuff. And some of the kids, like you said, they're going to rip one purely because it's electric and there's almost no maintenance. Like tighten and lube the chain and you're pretty much good to go. Plug in the charger here and there,
Yeah,
so
totally.
It's pretty cool. And I think it keeps it open to a much larger demographic, keeping the electric stuff in. And it's cool to see, like we talked, Josh, over the weekend that the arena crosses, they're dabbling with it. They were a little bit more hesitant and said, hey, let's make a separate class for them, combine them as an exhibition, and then see how it goes. And it's like, I wouldn't be surprised to see them actually combine them next year after how it went, because they weren't a clear and obvious advantage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be great to see. I mean, that would be a lot of fun.
I just think, let's just get people riding. It's like, I don't give a shit. I got 2 little girls and they have little Stasic bikes, and I've never pushed anything on them, but I bought a little Honda 50 that I've had it for 3 years. I got these little Stasic bikes. They ride those Stasic bikes all the time. I ride around in the little 50 with them. And it's like, I don't give a shit. I don't care if they want to ride the little Honda or the Stasic. I just want them to ride. I don't care if it's a bicycle. I just want them to do something like that. And what a great time we live in for the freaking options we have. I mean, it's just awesome. And just get over yourself. If, I'm sorry that you can't just go out and buy a brand new CR 500 anymore, whatever. Move with the times. It's like, let's just enjoy what we have. It's like some of the best dirt bikes we've ever had in our lives, whether it's I have a KTM 300 that I absolutely adore. And I also love my 450. And I would love to have a Stark someday, or any of those bikes. It's just awesome. The options we have are so freaking cool right now.
Oh, absolutely. It's like, I mean, this has got to be one of the best times ever to be a consumer for motorcycles. And we've got Triumph and Ducati coming in.
Right.
I mean, you got options all over the place. Stark's obviously new. Like, we lost Alta, but you still got the big 4 Japanese, and you've got, basically 2.5 Austrians at this point. So if you can't find a bike that fits you, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, right. I wish you could still go buy a brand new CR 500 because I love those bikes. But
me too. Yeah.
It is what it is. You still have 2-stroke options. Cowie's going to enter that game too, and I'm probably going to be on the list for one of those because I still like my 2-strokes.
If you can't find the bike for you right now, then go buy a quad. We don't need you here.
To hell with you. To hell with you. But man, it just, a lot of this, why we wanted to have you on, is like just really fun seeing you bring this into our sport. And you're such a good spokesman for it, Josh. And it was really fun watching you race it. And that's what, hill climbing's always been a spectacle, right? And if I can get a silent electric bike that adds to that spectacle, I'm all for it. Let's go.
Totally. I mean, if nothing else, like, it gives people something to cheer or boo for, Yeah. Makes the engagement, so it is what it is. Like,
yep.
Don't matter as long as they're cheering.
Yep. Oh, for sure. For sure. So how was your opinion of the rounds 1 and rounds 2? Did you have fun? Did you enjoy it? Did it live up to your expectations? Where were you at?
Yeah, it was awesome. I was really hoping we were going to get a little more rain heading into it. We had a race a few weeks ago that was just like incredible conditions, and I was hoping we were going to get a little more of that, but Mother Nature didn't really help us too much. We kind of had some dry hills, but as far as the event, I don't know. Every year it seems like Matt and Dwight and those guys just do better and better. It was just, it really seemed like clockwork this time. Like, we didn't have any big delays or anything like that. It was just boom, boom, boom. Nothing really too eventful. And it's, those guys just get better every time. And I'm super thankful that they still do it. It's not like they're raking in a lot of money, if any, doing these events, It really is a community thing. And I'm just really happy that we're fortunate enough to be able to have a place to come run our bikes like this and really kind of push ourselves. Like, everyone's got that reason, like, why they compete, right? And like, the main thing for me is like, it forces me to do things on a bike that I'd never be able to do practicing, and I'm super thankful like for that opportunity just to be able to compete with those guys. And like, I've been racing with these same guys for over 10 years now. And it's like, it's such a community out there, and to see those guys every time, it's super fun. Cause I don't see a lot of those guys outside of racing. Like Logan, I don't see you hardly once or twice a year, like we can talk through Instagram and all that, but it's like, I don't know, seeing everyone in person, like that's always a huge thing for me. So I'm really, really thankful for that.
Very cool. Any more racing up the hills this year for you, Josh?
Yeah, I know. I'll do all the local races for sure. I think our next round's in like October or something like that. I would love to make it out to the Bay City race. Logistics of that are a little tricky, obviously.
Right.
I mean, I work full time for Electro & Co now, and we're just like full bore with everything. We've all been super busy, so taking that much time off to do the drive is a little bit tricky. But if I could find someone to like haul bikes over there and split gas or something like that, and just kind of fly in, fly out,
cool.
then it might be a possibility. But yeah, with that being back on the schedule this year, like I said, when I went a couple years ago, that was probably one of the most fun races I've been to. I love being in Wisconsin and meeting everyone and racing that hill. So definitely would like to come back for sure.
Well, shout out if anybody's here, if they're looking for somebody to maybe help make their trip a little easier too. Maybe you can get little teammate for their Bay City trip. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That'd be sweet.
And it has been announced too that the Frenchies will be at Bay City, so you could race against some French guys out there. You'd probably like that, huh?
What's the Cooper Webb quote? The French don't want none.
These guys do. I'm gonna tell you right now. They bring it. They'll take what you got.
No, totally. I've seen videos of those guys. They're legit. Like,
no, for sure.
No shade on them. Like,
no.
I got all the respect in the world. So it would be awesome to make it out there and be able to run with those guys. Absolutely.
We'd love to have you. That'd be so cool. It's going to be an epic event this summer. It's going to be Logan's he's been thinking about this for a long time. So it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, should be a good time. I'm excited.
Well, dude, we hope in the future to have you on for a long form to get your entire story. You've had such an interesting life and all that you've been involved in and racing and work and all that you've done. We really need to have your full story. It's been fun just to get the whole Motoclimb breakdown from you for the weekend. And we were kind of hoping to entice you that we could get you back for a real long one if you'd have us.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be a ton of fun.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Well, dude, just thanks for being, such a great spokesman for our sport. Wearing the black, that you had me with that. I was like, here comes Johnny Cash in on the silent bike. This is awesome. Congratulations on your success you had. It was I thought you had a great weekend riding. And man, thanks for sharing it with us. And can't wait to hear more from you, Josh. Oh man, Tristan and Josh, bangers of guests. Great recaps for Motoclimb 1 and 2. Thanks, Tristan. Thanks, Josh. So fun. And both those guys, got to get them in for a long form, get their stories. This weekend, Logan, it was a big one for us. I mean, thank God we don't live by an ocean because everything's only half the distance of North America continent for us to go to. But we were talking, it's like getting to the race is a huge part of being a racer, right? And if you're not at the race, you can't compete, right? Mm-hmm. And to get ready for this, it's not monumental, but there's things you got to do, and there's things that help, and for us, we chose, we've been teaming up for years now. Luke, you, me, all of us, Kirk, we've had what we've called Team Limited for a long time because we're limited on resources, but we make it happen. But it's a big thing. Like, think about when you're a racer, especially in hill climbing, the races are not close. They're, no matter where you live, if you want to compete in a series, you're going to have to travel 10 to 14 hours at some point, right? And it's important. And for us, we just talked about it, the van life with Tristan. That is number one with the bullet. If you're by yourself, buy a freaking van, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. That's van life makes it pretty dang easy. That's for sure. But
if you got a friend and you got somebody you want to race with, think about that. Think about these things when you're racing. What am I going to do? Am I always going to be by myself? Is there a buddy that I can travel with? Because if you got a buddy you can travel with, fuel is half price, rooms are half price, everything's cheaper. And for us, we've always traveled through the night. Have we ever driven, got a room, slept, woke up and driven? Have we ever done that one time?
No, I have not.
I mean,
Not at least going to a race.
Luke's personal cocoon, as we've talked
It's
about.
basically a
episode
5-star hotel. At
But,
least in his eyes.
But you gotta think things out. You gotta make plans and do it. Think about what you want. Think about how you want to do it. Try to involve your friends. And we have options. Like when we go, we have your van, we have my little trailer. Sometimes we've taken your van and my little trailer, which works. Your dad's got he's got like a medium-sized trailer, his pickup. We got my pickup and then my big trailer. And we always kind of decide like what works best, what we're going to do. And we make a freaking plan, and a lot of it is how many people are going, how many bikes are going, right? You got to think it out, try to have options. But then once you get it figured out, like, think it through. Like I was so like you researched, you found good rooms. Where do you go about like finding where to stay? Because you can't stay in a shithole and get your everything stolen, and you can't stay at the Taj Mahal and go broke. How is it that you research what to go and where?
Yeah, it's a little bit of it's just learning the hard way, I guess, is the best way to say it. I've learned pretty much everything that I do well. I probably did it bad and learned the hard way from that. So it's just, a ton of time goes into planning all of these trips out. You have to make sure that you kind of know where you're going. Like I always like just pulling up where the race is on a map and zooming out and looking at big cities. And, for the most part, just looking at the names of the cities where a decent places to stay. And then if you see a deal too good to be true, usually I stay away from it because there's something scary about them.
Right. Yeah.
So
that's good advice, right?
Try to meet in the middle. Like we don't go broke buying the nicest hotels that we can, but I don't stay in the dump either. Like
right.
I'm to a point where I feel like I've paid my dues. Like I've stayed in plenty of shitholes when we were young and when we were struggling a little bit more. Now it's like I'm making a little bit of money doing this, and it's what I choose to spend all of my work off or time off work doing. So it's like I'm going to enjoy it a little bit too.
Right. No. And like when we got ready to go, we made a plan. Think about your equipment, grease the bearings in your trailer, bring extra tires, plan for things to go frickin' sideways because they're gonna frickin', you're gonna have problems. Have tools, know how to change a tire, know how to do these things. And then when you're planning your route, don't just do what I do and just put in the address and hit go, because they're not guaranteed. Look at the route you're taking. Look at the weather that's on that route, right? Because thank God we had meteorologist Cipala in the front seat so he could route us through South Dakota, and we stayed out of the 90 mile an hour winds or whatnot on the way there. But there's thought that goes into this stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, you just plug that sucker in and blindly follow your GPS. You're going to be going through some mountain pass in southern Montana when you're not going that direction, right, Joel?
Exactly. That's exactly how that goes. Don't do that. Don't just blindly follow the standard Apple map on your phone, and it will always lead you astray. Don't do that. I'm not allowed to use my phone in the truck anymore.
No, we've got a system of checks and balances now. So.
Yeah.
When your phone goes onto the CarPlay, we got to make sure that we're headed the right way.
Right. No, exactly. And, driving through the night, don't be a hero. Like we talk about all the time. I don't know how many times I've told you, like, hey, you get tired, we're a team. I got a lot of cool stuff I want to do. Don't be falling asleep, right? It's like you and I, it was just the two of us. And I'm so comfortable traveling with you, but we know our limits. Like there's no time to be a freaking hero. When you're driving and you get tired, you pull over. If the guy can drive for a while, he hots it, whatever you got to do. You get through the night, get through the day. We've had it before also where we're both just effing shot, right? And you just got to pull over, sleep for a couple hours, get some rest, go. That's how it works, and I've benefited from your planning. And like we do things a lot on the minimum, but we always plan for problems. Like we left knowing if something happened, we had like a 6-hour window where we'd still get there at night and have some sleep. We got there, at 4:00. But if we would have had some sort of mechanical or weather issue or whatever, we planned for that. It's like you can't just plan on there being 30 minutes of traffic and you pull in half an hour before start. You got to you got to plan things that are going to go wrong, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a big unknown with the road trip and traveling that far. I mean, in a span of like what is it? Less than 72 hours, I think. We're from Wisconsin, 2 days racing in California and back in Wisconsin. So
Yeah, I don't even know how many miles. It's over 2,000, I think.
yeah,
To
it's right. It's like very, very near 2000 on the dot. It's like,
right.
yeah.
So basically, we left Thursday at noon, Wisconsin time, or no, 11. Thursday at 11, Wisconsin time. Drove straight through. The truck never turned off. Got to Carnegie at 4:30 on Friday. Got there, got our pit set up. Thank you, everybody there for giving us awesome pit setup or pit spot. We had plenty of room and it worked out really good. Got our stuff in there. We even got to go have supper, got a good night's sleep, come back, race Saturday, Sunday. The second you got your check Sunday, we left about 6:30 on Sunday night, drove right through, one trailer tire mishap for only a small time, and we were home at like 2:30 a.m. on Tuesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's Thursday to Tuesday, traveling 4,000 miles, racing 2 days. I'd say that's pretty freaking epic.
Yeah. And to add to it, I've now been in all 4 time zones of the continuous US in like the last 36 hours, maybe 48 hours. So I'm dragging.
Yeah. Oh man, I'd say. Yeah. Where are you? South Carolina or North Carolina?
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
This time.
Yeah. You have yet to record a podcast at your home. You've always been on the road. We thought it was going to be Luke that was going to be on the road all the time.
Well, this just goes to the planning though. When my boss offered me to swap a day of PTO to travel for the second half of this week, and can't say no to that, right?
You need all the
gold.
You need all the PTO you can get.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, it's not impossible, especially if you got an awesome travel bud that will do it. It's really fun. Like I almost look forward to the road trips, especially in the beginning of the year. I love seeing this great country we live in. I would love it if they could get a race up in Canada so we get some Canadian miles on up there at some point. That'd be pretty fun. But, plan your stuff out. Plan for things to go wrong. And then when they don't go wrong, it's just the best thing ever, right? But just always plan for shit to go sideways because it will. But I just want to talk a little bit about like how we did this trip, and not that we have all the answers, but the more information you got, the better,
Oh yeah.
Really freaking cool at the race. It was so cool. I got a little video of it, but do you want to talk about somebody that found out about your bike and how?
Yeah, so it's actually pretty cool, and it fits right in with the Motoclimb Super Series and everything that Matt does. So every riders meeting, he goes on and on about social media. We've all heard the spiel, and some people may take it serious, some may not. We and I experienced real life social media marketing in work. It's super cool. I was getting my bike ready on Sunday morning, and the guy comes up to me and asks if this is my bike as I'm putting fuel in the Buell. And he says that he drove 2 hours this morning to be at this race just because he saw that there was going to be a Buell there, and he wanted to see it because he's got a Super Cruiser on order. Long story short, Matt and Owen posted a video of my open ride, tagged Buell, and obviously we all collaborated and posted it. And then Buell put it on their story, and this guy saw it on their Instagram story and decided to make that drive down to the race. So it's like it went from real life posting for free down the line and turning that into revenue for Matt.
That's so cool.
And for the series,
and for Buell. Because guess what? He's probably got 2 Super Cruisers on order after he watched that effing soul stealing run you had on Saturday when the Buell just stole the souls off that podium.
Yeah. So it's cool. It's really rewarding for me because I'm trying to do what I can for Buell with everything that they've done for me. And then it was rewarding for Matt to hear the story and know that, hey, the work that he put in, and when he could have maybe gone to sleep that night instead of posting that reel, it actually brought in, another few bucks for him throughout the day. I know I saw the guy, or I assume his kid that was with him, eating some food when they came by and talked. So they were spending money at the vendors, which is keeping those guys happy. And it's like anything we can do to bring more money into the sport is what we need, is super critical. Right now it's like when every dollar that comes through those gates is helping us out one way or another.
Right. Your bike gets a lot of attention when it's sitting there and by the pits. And I love great job again, Carnegie, how they had the pit rows set up with all the awesome guys displaying their great equipment. And I felt like maybe Two Beers should have announced more, or maybe the announcer should more like, hey guys, if you're getting, if you're sick of watching 450s go up the hill, go in those pits. And look what they're doing to those premier class bikes right now, or the open class bikes. Go in there, check these builds out or whatever. I think that, I don't know, I'm just kidding about the announcing. I don't know how I need to announce it, but I feel like, they need to know that people want you to come look at their bikes. Like I want you to come up and look at my open bike. I want you to ask questions about it. And I think that is as much of a show that we have to offer as the riding. Because there's so many, look at how many people go to just look at chopper builds and everything else. They're custom builds. 10,000 people go in to look at the Donnie Smith bike show. It's like we have freaking epic one-off builds as well. And they need to highlight those,
Yeah, the coolest part about our racing and what we need to be showcasing is for sure these open bikes. The builds that people are doing, the creativity, the workmanship, all of this is just, it is second to none. And I don't know where else you find something like this either. It's super cool. And then, like you said, with Carnegie and Matt, and I know Paul Wolfson was involved with it, and Adam Shelton, and who knows who else, but getting the pro row that we call it, is a bare minimum that every event needs to have. Absolutely. If you're even going to consider yourself a pro hill climb and you don't have organized parking with tents lined up and bikes in the place where they need to be, it's just, I don't even care if I'm not up there. Like, I don't need to be front and center, but if we're going to have an event like this, it needs to be organized parking to show this stuff off. And if you don't have a good tent to put your bikes under and good looking bikes, then it's good motivation to do that so you can get up front. When I didn't have that, I was in the back too with everybody else, but it just makes the event look so good. I mean, like the lineup of tents that were on that gravel road was so cool, and just all the spectators that get to look at that stuff is awesome.
That's so awesome. Yeah,
and it makes us look more professional too.
Oh, absolutely. No, and it's so fun seeing all the and the variety. We have so much variety, and I just feel like we need to highlight that so the crowd knows, like, that's why we're all lined up. That's why the bikes are sitting right out there for you to Google on. It's like it's really cool, and there's something there for everybody.
Yeah, and they did a fantastic job with the organization and the planning around that. It could not be any better.
And I know that it's a lot of work, but it's worth it. Like, it's so freaking worth it. So thank you for everybody involved.
Big thanks.
That's the opposite of something stuck in our chain. We got to think of another thing, like we're, writing it in the sky, or I don't know. If anybody can think of a good segment name for something that we're real proud of, hit us up. We need ideas for a segment where we're just proud of something we saw. I don't know.
Would you say that the volunteers that put in the work to schedule the parking maybe found their line with their parking job?
Damn it. God dang it. Look at that. Yes, that's exactly what I'd say. I'd say they found their line. That's very good. That's awesome.
So corny.
So good. It's so corny. Also, the other thing I want to say, what I loved, besides the pit row, the pro pit row, everything, I loved seeing those big ass cameras everywhere. I saw so many photographers. There was a photographer sitting there having a drink of water. I look over and a photographer's trying to climb up on my truck. I went over there and wheeled the tonneau cover. Sit right here. Yeah, they're taking pictures all over the hill. Thank you. I mean, that is just awesome to see all the media that was getting taken there. That was great.
Yeah, it's huge. That's just more growth and more eyes on the sport is all we can ask for, and the bare minimum that we can do. It's pretty easy to do that, and makes it much easier when you have 15 different photographers and their albums with photos up for sale that you can buy and post on your social media all week.
No, I got to get on there. I've been so busy since we got back, but there's been some that I've seen, and I got to go buy some from these photographers because it's looking cool in my rutted gear. So proud of my pink gear that I had.
They look pretty good.
Yeah, no, that's not my first set, as I said in my post. I've had that before. I was about 12 when I had the last set of pink gear, though. So
nice.
Also, thanks. met another spirit animal, Nitro Kelly. Came up, man, we're buds. We're brothers from another mother. Me and Nitro Kelly. That dude was just on it all weekend. So fun to meet him. He came up and gave me my line, "Hey, we're having more fun than anybody else." I was like, "Yeah, let's go, bud."
Yep.
It was awesome. So nice to meet you, dude. And also, multiple people came up, said they listened to episode 1, Find the Line. They were liking what they hearing, and they were excited that there was going to be more media for racing and Hillclimb and everything else. And thank you for the kind words. Thank you for listening. Please share it if you see it on YouTube or Instagram or anywhere. If you could share it, we love that. So we want to grow the sport as well. I don't know. Is it a wrap?
I think it's a wrap.
One last thing. My bud Kevin, his whole family came out. They live in Pacifica, came to the race. Dude was there all weekend helping me. Thank you. Even helped Logan change a tire.
Yep.
Kevin, probably one of the favorite people I've ever met on this planet. He is a true brother. Love that guy. Sarah, Colton, Remy, Dalton were all there, just having the time of their life, running around the trailer. So awesome. Thanks, you guys, for coming out. That was a great time.
Mm-hmm. And then just to top it off and end it on a good note, huge thank you, like Josh said, to Matt, Bree, Dwight, Kevin, Two-Beer for announcing, all of the Hill crew. I don't know all their names, unfortunately, and I know Wolfson's helped out a lot with it, Adam Shelton, like all these guys that made this event go on. I think this was one of the best events I've seen there. I mean, they just keep getting better every time. The race course just looked amazing. They had it manicured to a T at the bottom. The berm and the tabletop were sweet. The flags look good on the hills. Everything. They're doing an incredible job there, and hope to keep seeing it improving like that. It's going to be tough to beat that one, but they did a great job, and it looked awesome. So everyone, make sure to give them a lot of thanks. It's a ton of work, and they usually don't get enough praise for it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well said. All right. We're out of here.
Come on, my mama told me one day I'ma grow up big and I'ma be a king. And my papa told me it's okay to say when shit hurts. Don't forget your dreams, 'cause they'll get you